Welcome to Reality Show World, where we talk about reality shows from around the world, have international versions, so I don't have to create separate YouTube channels for the separate things. Today, before we get on to talk about the cast, one of my phone so I know how to pronounce their names, I'd like to talk about it. Today is the 19th of January 2024, and on Amazon Prime, in the UK and Ireland, I don't know about globally, but it probably is globally, the TV series Last One Laughing Ireland came out, which is the Irish version of the international format created in Japan, called Documental / Last One Laughing. I don't know why they stopped using the word documental, but I'll have to investigate on that and create a whole video on that. This channel might end up becoming Last One Laughing World channel, who knows? I am really into everything I talk about on this channel, but because I've talked about this more, who knows? But I am going to keep it in the reality show world as long as possible. So, next video we might talk about Lego Masters, or we might talk about the Traitors Series 2. Who knows? But I'll only talk about the Traitors Series 2 once the series has ended. So don't leave any Traitors Series 2 spoilers in the comment section down below. This video for Last One Laughing Ireland will contain spoilers, as it came out today at 6 PM. Now the spoilers aren't really going to be like, oh, and this happened and this happened. It's just going to be like, well, here the special guest that appeared. I'm not going to reveal the winner in this video, and I'm also going to talk about like who I thought was the best contestant in the series. So it was hosted by Graham Norton, who I think is, well, I don't really know. I can't really judge how they get the hosts, because in the Australian version, Rebel Wilson's in it, and she isn't really classed as the host, really, and I don't really see her as like the most famous person in Australia. So I think like Graham Norton is like the most well-known Irish host, I would say. He used to be a stand-up comedian and an actor. So this series starred, in no particular order, Aisling Bea, Amy Humbervan, Deirdre O'Kane, Emma Doran, spelled D-O-R-A-N. We had David Mugsavage, Catherine Bohart, Paul Taker, T-Y-L-A-K, Jason Byrne, and yeah, that's and Tony Cantwell. Now, before I watched this series, how many did I know is the key question. I knew Aisling Bea, Deirdre O'Kane, but I didn't know her name in the last video. Catherine Bohart and Jason Byrne, and obviously I knew Graham Norton, but the name I missed was Martin Angelo, who doesn't have a photo on Google. Who knew? Who knew? Not me. So, Last One Laughing is a Irish version of the format as I mentioned, but it's on Amazon Prime. So I'm trying to think now. Like Channel 4 started off Lego Masters, right? I'm trying to think of a good analogy to explain this point. And they air the other versions, but not all of them. Right, let me try to explain this in a better way. So, Amazon Prime is a streaming service which you would get for free if you got the Amazon Prime subscription for normal Amazon for the purchasing of getting stuff next day delivery. It's well worth it. It's not a sponsor for Amazon Prime. And Amazon Prime Video is the stream platform where they have a lot of originals, but they're all like, so it's like Boys and Gen V, which are a franchise, right? And then you have, well, you don't really have any international formats. So I think, I don't know whether or not Documental / Last One Laughing first came out on Amazon Prime and became Amazon Prime's international format. I don't know, but I know that this version's on there. And it lasts for 6 episodes, which is a perfect amount. There's 6 episodes. Each episode's an hour each, because it's 6 hours, right? The whole thing lasts 6 hours for the people in it. And everything. And what they try and do is they try and make it so that the cast, so like the special guest cast that they bring onto the show, are relevant to the country that the program's set in, right? So, for example, if in this version we had Jedward as the special guests, which is relevant to Ireland because Jedward, even though they're an internationally well-known pop group, they are famous in Ireland first and foremost, right? So, I tried to zoom in there, so I do apologise. And so they're very well known in Ireland, right? And well known elsewhere, but for an Irish programme, they're very well known in Ireland. Now, each version of Last One Laughing has certain people on it that are well known just generally in their from their country, but well known overall. But they also have like some really like in detail people. So I'm currently watching Last One Laughing Series 2 for Netherlands. I don't really know much about the Netherlands at all, really, in comedy wise. So that's new to me. But with Last One Laughing Ireland, the one thing that made this show even more incredible than what was happening on the show was Zig and Zag, Dustin the Turkey and Ray. The Den is was an Irish programme that came back a few years ago, actually. Not that long ago, but did come back. And then got cancelled again, which they did a podcast and they came back for Comic Relief. So I do know that the Den is still as popular as it ever was. And I think that made the programme really amazing because they introduced the Den to the show, but they made it so that it felt like it was the Den because they'd got the Den original set, or not the original set, but a version of the Den set, so that the show was, so that their bit on the show was accurate as possible because of puppets, if you don't know. Now, their job was to try and make the contestants laugh, and it's tricky because they're trying not to laugh at everyone else, but they're also trying not to smile, which I think is a little bit cruel because you can be really happy to see Dustin and Zig and Zag and Ray, or you can be really happy to see Jedward, and it just seemed slightly, that's the only bit that I slightly disagree with the format, right, the laughing bit in the format. So, my favourite overarching theme within the show was from Aisling Bea. Now, this isn't a spoiler, because you see this is episode 1, and this arc doesn't finish till episode 6. As in, like, that's the whole series, but it's an arc that you question it, but then you realise, oh no, it's Aisling, so it's alright. So at some point, before the show starts, a load of props get brought in, so that when they arrive, they've got some ammunition to play with. Now, Aisling found, I don't know whether or not she brought it in, or she found it, I can't work it out, but she brought a massive knitting needle, a massive wool, so she was knitting. And by the end of the show, right, so she was knitting throughout. Not really all the time, but every so often you would see her just there knitting, and she had yellow wool, and then she moved on to green wool. And by the end of the show, when she stood up, right, because a lot of this show sat on couches, whether or not you sat on the couch in the Last One Laughing hub, or you're laughing in the control room where Graham Norton is. There's a couches there, so she stood up, so this ain't any spoilers, so she stood up, and it went from about there, and it rolled on, it was about there, shall we say. So it was rather a long knitting, which I was very impressed with. If I was taking anything away from it from a serious manner, I was very impressed with this. Now, the one thing that made this incredible was that it didn't all end in chaos like the Australian version did, because Sam Simmons is notoriously an absolute madman when it comes down to the final episode of the Australian version. So Jason Burns, who could have been the Sam Simmons of this version, was a lot more tamer, which was good, because then you were sat there thinking, this has not become funny. this was absolutely hilarious. I was laughing from start till finish, and all of it was funny. There wasn't one bit that I could not laugh at. And it's like, there's bits, when you think of comedians, you don't think of them as, oh, I'll chuck anything, it's funny, right? But when you set them in this scene, it's like Taskmaster. With Taskmaster, you set them in a scene that they're unfamiliar with, and they show off their true potential as a comedian, not just say, I wrote this joke or doing this. They've been plunked into a situation that they're not familiar with, and they made it funny. So in Last One Laughing, because they try not to laugh, because the only rules is, you can't laugh, you can't smile, we have to make everyone else laugh. They're trapped in a situation where they need to pull as much comedy out the bag as possible. They might not be there, they might not be improvised comedians, they might not be able to do all this, but everything they do ends up becoming funny. And you can see when they cut to the cameras when they're talking about what they were thinking generally during that time, you can see that they're sat there thinking, well, that was really funny, but I was trying hard not to laugh, and you can do all these methods. And so it made it more interesting in a way. Now, my favourite bit of the whole programme was actually knitting, right? Because that was just impressive that she managed to make people laugh, managed to not laugh, managed to do everything she'd been tasked to do by the programme's format, but at the same time managed to still knit something that, even though it was nothing by the end of it, could have been a very long scarf if she really pushed the boat out, but it was a very long knitted thing, and it was incredible, can I just say. It was incredible. And could I do that for 6 hours? I would like to try. I don't know if I would last the whole 6 hours, but I would love to give Last One Laughing a go to see if I've got the comedy chops for it. So, overall, this was a non-spoiler review trying to keep, because if you spoil it, it sort of ruins the magic of it. But saying that Ashley was knitting isn't a spoiler, because that's just impressive. That's just something you have to go, oh, he's right! That is really impressive. You have to agree with me on that. So, there you have it. Would I rate this version against the Australian and Canadian versions, and the half of the Netherlands version I've seen so far? Would I give this one a 10 out of 10? Yes. This one, so my favourites are now Ireland, Australia, Canada. I haven't finished Netherlands yet, so I can't say whether or not. And I'm watching the second series in the Netherlands version, just in case I recognise anyone, because obviously nowadays, when you have comedy, they don't just stick to their country, if you get me. So like, the comedian in Netherlands could be making a programme that ended up being available elsewhere, like in the UK or whatever, or they put some online and you've stumbled across it. So I thought I would recognise them, but I don't, because there's not a Dutch version of Taskmaster yet. Anyway, so they're my top 3 favourites at the moment, and I'm going to review more Last One Laughings. Graham Norton was a fantastic host. The contestants were amazing, and my favourite contestant was Catherine. Well, it was Aisling Bea, then Catherine, then Jason, then Deirdre. But because they were the ones that were doing the most bonkers stuff out there, like Catherine was trying to not take it seriously, even when she gets distractions, and it's just funny. And the others that I didn't really know, I am now going to investigate them more and work out what shows they've done and try and become an even bigger fan of them than I have become because of this show. So, there you have it. We'll leave it at that. Thank you guys for watching. That was my review of Last One Laughing Ireland. If you want me to review any of the shows that are listed on the channel as programme that I cover, please let me know in the comment section down below. Time to work. Bye!